All right, welcome back to AI content creation. Today we're going to be looking at AI content detection tips and how we can pass the AI detectors. Now, I will preface this by saying that it's up for debate on whether AI detection is even a big deal or not. Obviously, Google has announced and published that they don't care where your content comes from, but they do care if it's valuable, helpful, quality content, factually based, human sounding or human written, basically. So even if you write with AI writers, that's fine, but it needs to basically be valuable, helpful content and factual content. So they don't really care. But here's my opinion is that I don't think that everything that Google publishes, just because they publish that and say that, it doesn't mean that they don't have a different opinion in the background. They do not have to share everything. They obviously don't share their algorithm with everybody. They choose what they want to share with the general public. And so how are we supposed to know that whether they're stating that, and they could be stating that because they are themselves going to be using AI in the search engines, so they can't legally tell you can't use it, but they can. But if you were a multi-billion-dollar business and the world's leading search engine for the last 25 years, you obviously are not going to share everything with the general public. So that's my opinion, is that they could be putting that in there for legal reasons, but they still could actually have AI detection tools. And if you asked me, they definitely have the capability of knowing if you wrote your content with AI. And they may penalize it. They may be penalizing it. You never know. But of course, there's also going to be a lot right now I have a lot of AI that is ranking. I have AI generated content that's ranked #1 on Google for months. So you can argue many different points. But for those of you that are still concerned and want to pass AI detection tools, that was a very long intro to say that there are ways to do it. I think some of the videos that are out there that are saying that you can use ChatGPT and tell it to write more burstiness and more perplexity, and the way that humans write shorter sentences, more complex sentences, use stories in your writing, all those things. Well, I've tested it for weeks now and it doesn't work. It may work if you find the right prompt, but in general, if you prompt ChatGPT, you may increase the AI detection a little bit, but not enough to write home about, not enough to really change, send that off as a SOP to your writers or your process. So we're going to be looking at some different ways. One of the classic ones, I have it in one of my prompts over here. I'm going to go open that up real quick. So I have one right over here, and we'll be able to see right over here, I've added this in, talking about AI sentences. When writing the following content, able to ask it to create, I need it to have a good amount of perplexity, burstiness. So when you are writing, instead of always writing the next word, blah, blah, blah. So you can do that, and then, you may increase the AI detection a little, or reduce it, I should say, a little bit, but not, getting 100% or anything like that. I haven't been able to pull those numbers in your guys' testing. Leave a comment below if you've been able to find any kind of command or prompts in here that's going to spit out 80, 90, 100% human readable or human generated content using originality and so forth, right? So we'll go over here to Originality AI. We can also use Content at Scale, AI detector right here. So we can test those out. But for now, I can tell you right here. So we have add your main keywords here. So I've got my main keyword. We're going to just go and prompt this real quick. So we go back over here to ChatGPT and we write. When we come back over here, I'm going to grab step 2, and this is where I'm not telling it. I'm educating AI about perplexity and burstiness, and please use this in my writing. We're going to come over here and also throw this in and push enter. And it says it understands, it's going to write like that. Okay. So we're going to keep coming through here. We're going to test this out. And then we're going to say right over here, we're going to copy that and come back over here and paste in my workflow process right here. And then we're going to go and grab this, and it's going to start writing for us right here. I'm going to throw this one in right now, enter, and then we'll go back over here. The blog post title will be right here. I'm going to go back. So it's getting us some titles, which is pretty cool. And title 1 has the exact match. So that's the title we would go with. I'm going to actually go with that. So 10 best tense, and we're going to go like that. We're going to go back over here to my prompts, and we're going to say that this is the title of the article. I'm going to right click and put that in, formatting, and there we go. So the blog title will be that. Now keep in mind, and we're going to go ahead and start writing. So all that work, right? See if we can get the best article created using ChatGPT. We're writing an in-depth, very detailed article outline right now. And then we're going to go back in to my prompt. And now we're going to take all these and write. So here we go. We're going to finish up and actually write the article right over here. So we're ready to go, right? Boom. So there's a lot of things that are going on right here. And if you guys know the answer, then let me know, because, do we already have too much text in here all the way up here that ChatGPT can't reference what's going on? Can it not answer or, go back to where we're talking about the complexity and the burstiness of the sentences up here? Because I've heard that it only goes back a certain amount of times, but I've heard that a lot of different numbers. It only goes back 600 characters or 1,000 characters or so forth, right? So right here, we're going to need to push continue, and so it can continue writing our article for us. So PQR tent is durable. So I don't think it picked up actual products right here. XYZ tent, that's probably not a thing. So somewhere it messed up, and it's really not writing about the actual tents right over here. But either way, we're going to be able to go in, and so it's adding this frequently asked questions. And that's what's funny too, is that you can have this command. I didn't tell it to write frequently asked questions or anything like that. That's actually what my next kind of thing was going to be. But it seems to be, it's just, it can go off in its own direction whenever it wants to, right? But we're going to grab all this content right here, and we're going to go test it out. I'm going to copy this. It's still going to be, worth looking at and testing. I'm going to go ahead and go to a new scan, paste this in. It is in Markdown language. That's good. And right here, continue writing, please. I'm going to take that part away and then match this part up right there. And we've got our article. We're going to scan that real quick. And we've got 2% original, 98% AI. I'm going to take this content. We're going to go over to the other AI detection tool, Content at Scale, and check for AI content as well right here and see what it has to say. So it's 55%, unclear if it's AI content, but definitely not good enough to be positive. If this is what your main thing is, you want to really not have AI content on your site, then you would need to go and look at this, right? So what could we do with this content? There's a lot of things we could do, and there are a lot of different patterns or prompts that you could, we could go back over here and we could say, now rewrite all this using less commas or no commas. You could do different punctuation. We could rewrite this and see if we can get better scores. We're probably only going to do a little bit. Let's go with okay, so we could take this. It's too much content at once to rewrite anyways, because we've already had to do a continue. So you're going to really have to hone in on your process if you're going to do this, right? You're going to have to take a certain amount at a time and ask it to write with less commas. We can also add up here in our very start of the prompt to write with less commas as well. And so forth. But I don't think that that's going to yield a, reverse this to 98% original content, right? So there's a lot of different ways that we could still go out and try to get this to sound more human and pass AI detection, but I think that it still goes back to using rewriter tools. So we could use Quillbot, and let's go check Quillbot out. I'm going to come over here and we'll go to the paraphraser, and we have our content over here, and we're going to easily just paste this in right here. And then now what we can do is we have all kinds of different ones over here. We can be more creative, expand, we can shorten, we can go simple. Let's go and I need to sign in real quick. So we're signed in to our premium account over here, and I'm going to go with simple because I know that simple is also in most niches with blogging. The more simple you can write and the lower complexities are better, right? If you can write in between 6th to 8th grade, more of a middle school, maybe up to 9th grade at max, then you're doing good. Once you get into, like 11th, 12th grade or higher, it's too complex of sentences for the general population of the United States or the world to understand, and it's not recommended to write that technical, right? Yes, of course, there are topics that college level writing or high school level writing is appropriate. You do want to look at what the top 10 ranking articles are to see what the what your readability score needs to be. Okay, but right here we're just on the first notch right here, and it's already going to replace all of that. It already did it automatically. This is actually a brilliant tool. And so you can see right over here we had 1,300 words. We actually have more words now, 1,451 words right over here, and we can copy this. We'll go back over to originality right over here, and we had a 2% original score. Let's go in here and let's go with a start new scan, and I'm going to paste that in, and I'm going to say scan now, and we're going to see if it improves. So it improved to 3% original, 97 AI. So let's continue to use Quillbot and see if we can do even better. So we'll move the notch up right over here. It does look like the synonym slider is disabled for simple mode. So we were only able to increase it a little bit on that one, but we have a bunch of different ones over here, right? So fluency, I'm going to go with fluency. And let's leave it on this first notch right here, and let's see if that is any better. So we'll go back over here, and I'm just going to paste that in. But remember, we had a 3% score right there, and you could keep a log for yourself. And already, look at that, a 41% original score, super cool stuff. Now, you could keep a log in a Google Sheet or an Excel file that basically, and then once you, okay, let me just kind of demonstrate this for you. So we could go over here, open up a Google Sheet, open up a blank sheet right here, and just call it, Quillbot AI Detection Rewrite Test, something like that, right? And so we're going to say originality AI, and then we'll go with content at scale. And then we're going to go with, I'm going to move those over. I guess we can just go with the score right here. And then right over here, you're going to say Quillbot, and you can put in here that this is simple score, and then you can put in here the Quillbot fluency, and then you could even do like fluency part 2. So if we wanted to make this even stronger, so we'd go back over and we got a 41% right here, right? So we got a 41%, and then right here we wanted to go fluency 2. We would say second notch, copy and paste. And then right over here, third notch, right? So now we're going to be testing this, right? So then you're going to really know which ones, and you can test it multiple times on different subjects. And then you would finally get to a point where we got a 41 right over here. I guess this one needs to be moved down right over here. So, and then content at scale, we could come over here and let's test that out real quick. The one that we put over here, and test it out in content at scale. So I hope this makes sense. Now we're testing out the human content score is a 79. So I'm going to just go back over here. So this is a 79 and this is a 59 or a 41. Okay. So it's 41 original score and the other one is a 79. Okay. And you could do an average. You could also come over here and do average. Boom, like that and so forth. So you can come up with this nice chart. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in as well. All right, so you guys can see it better. Okay, so I hope you guys makes sense. The content at scale got a 79, so we'd go back over here and we would say, okay, so we'd say 79 right there. And then we would do the second notch. Okay, so I'd remove that real quick. So we're going to move this to the second notch right over here under fluency. And we're going to now copy this and we're going to go back and retest. So now we're on second notch. I'm going to scan again. And we got a 44. So we'll come back over here and we can put 44 here and we can go back into content at scale. And then finally, when we're done with the testing, and you could test as many of the tools in Quillbot as you want, we got an 81. So obviously the higher we go with the notch, generally speaking, the better outcome we're going to get. Now remember, of course, using a spinner or paraphraser, you're going to want to spend, I would recommend handing this off to a trained virtual assistant or writer, hire an editor, and you already have all this content written. All they have to do is go spend 20 minutes reading through this and correcting any errors, any factual content, and any errors or things that just don't sound right. As far as just from a grammatical standpoint too. But you can also take this and do one final step and put it through Grammarly to really start to try to tighten up the grammar mistakes, right? So we would do one more. We'd go over here and we would now go to notch, the final notch, right? And we're going to go over here and copy that. Once it's done, we're going to go back over here and paste, scan again. And we're going to get just a 44. So it didn't really do much different on that last one. We got a 44. And this will give you data. This will give you important data because why would you go to the third option if you're getting an 81 as well? So if you're not going to improve this score here using the third notch in, I'm calling it a notch, but the third dial or whatever you want to call it, the third level, right? It says more changes, less accurate, right? You wouldn't want to use that last one if you're going to get the same result. You're going to want to bring this score down, okay? If that makes sense. So now you've got an average, right? 43 and 80 right here. So on content at scale, and then you could have a final number or something like that. So then now you could go and test the content out on standard, formal, simple, creative, shorten. You could go and test the shortener and go down to maybe like right there. And then you could go and it shortened it to 700 words, right? So you could copy that and then you could go back in and do a new scan on the shortener and see what you get. Now you get a 54% right here, okay? And then you could go back to Quillbot and you could go back to standard and then go for that third option right there. And once it's done, we got to wait till it's done over here. It's rephrasing still. And then once that's done with the circle right there, then we'll copy that text. We'll go back over here and we'll do one final test right here. Scan this and see what we get right over here. So now we have an 83% with standard, which seems to be probably the best option. So we'd come back over here and maybe we would add in another option over here for standard. And it was on the second. So we got an 83%, and then we'll go and test it out over here in content at scale real quick. A 95%. Okay, so now we're cooking. And then we'll try the final option. If you really wanted to get past it, we'll go for the last option there. Let it rewrite real quick. Copy that, originality. Throw that in, and we've got an 83% right there. So it didn't change much. And so that's what this testing is all about, because If it's not going to change much, then you want to do the minimal amount that you have to do, obviously, to the content in order to pull a better number. So it's just showing the 95 as well. So if this makes sense, guys, we just tested this. We know we're getting a really good number with using Quillbot standard rewrite right here. So using the standard rewrite tool on this option right here, you can go all the way down to here, 1, 2 option, and then the third. So the third option right there on the dial, that one is yielding 83% unique content right here and 95, and it's still tested the same using the full max one, right? So then what you would do is you would take that, and now we basically made this, anything probably 70% or higher, I would say, is going to basically pass as and we're only talking about AI detection, guys. Of course, there's a debate if it even is relevant or not. But for those of you that are still following I'm still going to exercise my blog content with caution. So I do want to pass these AI detection tools because it is all we have to go off of, right? Then this would give you data that which one rewrites the best. And we would use this, and we'd be able to pull scores like this, the 83% original right here. And then you could even go and take this further if you really needed to. So the next thing you would do is that once you get these high scores like this, 83%, you would want to definitely read the content and fix anything that's either not accurate, not factual, or grammatical errors. And you can do that with hiring someone to do that. And you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck hiring someone to edit multiple posts that was already written by AI, which is you're going to get a lot more value out of your worker. Or you can also put this through Grammarly and do it yourself and spend about 15-20 minutes per article editing. So those are my recommendations, and these are some tips on passing AI content generation tools. But I think that this is still the most effective way, other than going in and just spending a bunch of time trying to prompt ChatGPT to get you, to spit out, higher content. I'm not seeing any content right now in the last week or two coming out of ChatGPT, no matter what prompt I use. I'm not seeing anything pulling even more than 10% unique scores. So I do think you have to work something else into your process. So I hope that this video was valuable. If you're new to AI content generation YouTube channel, make sure to hit that like button on this video and make sure to subscribe so you get more details, more tutorials on how to use ChatGPT and other AI softwares. I'll see you in the next video.